Great conversation this morning on whether or not the free world is still in the lead in technology. I'm going to kick this off right away, Alex, by asking you a question. This year, an odd year in both Ukraine as well as in the world of global technology and the rapid development of artificial intelligence. Can you give us your sense, a few reflections on Ukraine, deployment of AI, how that's impacting the global tech race?
Well, happy to be here. I always like being in Copenhagen. It's a great place. We have been in Copenhagen and in this country for a long time. It's some of our stuff is well known, some of it's less well known. It's a high integrity place. But in any case, so there's been a lot of discussions around large language models, which is kind of seeping into the broader discussion as AI, but less discussion around what arguably was the most important event in AI ever, which was that the Ukrainians use technology, broadly speaking, to identify targets using algorithms that are trained over a very large country. And obviously, the determinant variable in Ukraine was and is their heroism and their technical acuity. But one of the big issues in software, so we've been at this for 20 years, was, when we started, people thought software was largely a fraud. Then we changed the course of especially European history by making it possible to stop terrorism in accordance with democratic norms. But still, really, until I think recently, no one saw really important events shifting. And then you have the large language models. Now, so if you just collapse them, because I don't want to take up, there's probably a lot to say here, but the combination of AI on the battlefield and the commercial use of large language models. Large language models are both very valuable, but they kind of hallucinate sometimes. They don't do math well. There's no memory function, and they can't tell you how they got to their conclusion. But they, wielded correctly, can change businesses and will change the battlefield. These things are largely produced in America. So that's just like a weird fact. We have a lot of crazy stuff going on in America. You may not be aware of it, but it's true. And at the same time, or maybe because of it, and Americans don't appreciate this, you have this country which is producing just where the tech landscape has shifted dramatically in the last year. And it shifted because of software developments. And then so, America's primary adversary, which is mainland China and Russia, are there's a tendency to underestimate our adversary. I constantly yelling at people at home that's really not smart. But it is just currently, and this is then how do you work with this with Western allies that also have a tech scene? But yeah, America's ability to produce AI, both categories, and its use is just. And then what's going to happen in the commercial side, which is less relevant for all of us here, is America's economy. There's a lot of fraud still in the AI market, and a lot of the things, and also a lot of unhappy people because they have nothing to sell. But the people who can produce and make these algorithms, whether they're large language models or algorithms work, are just going to do very well. And you're going to see the U.S. economy adapt to this and adopt this very, very quickly. So there's a big structural shift that's happening that will affect the world politically because the economic disjunction here. The short version is these large language models make people who are winning much stronger, and there's a whole economic element, which is why maybe in Denmark, I'm sure in Denmark I'd be voting for you, but in America I'm still on the left which is probably in America, you're far left. But well, we both believe poor people should have teeth, and that's a luxury item. But it really will exacerbate people with strong ability to adopt tech, and strong enterprises are just going to lurch forward. Enterprises, governments, and those that are resistant, parochial, only want to buy these things from their buddy, their friend, their own country, are really going to suffer.
Thank you.